just need to go outside and go on a walk. There's no way, right? There's absolutely no way. These men are insufferable. One of my favorite flavors is truffle flavor. You can't see it because the face tracking is on, but you'll see it later. Why don't you guys heat up the snacks? Oh, that's delicious.
It is.
Morning. Whew, I'm tired. This is how I braid them up for those people who were like, how do you do it? I literally just make 2 big braids and then I tie the ends upward, but I'm not unbraiding it right now because I'm eating. I'm not a big fan of the gym crowd later on in the day. Usually it's a bunch of people who just got off of work and they're very unserious about everything. I've had like personal trainers throughout my life, so I know 1, how to use gym equipment, and 2, I know what workouts to do for my body type. I also know how to have proper form, but it's always a lovely experience when some random dude that I don't know from Adam is like, oh, you're gonna like, you need to do this workout this way. And the whole time I'm just like, why are you even talking to me? I had that thought in my head, and I usually don't say things like that, but sometimes I'm like, why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me? My worst gym experience, I hope that this isn't putting anybody off, but these things happen. Like, I don't know. I feel awkward talking about negative experiences, but the thing is that a negative experience is still an experience. Regardless of whether or not it's anecdotal, it's still, it can't really be invalidated because it happened. Like, I have no reason to lie. Typically, when you go to a gym and you go to a gym for a long period of time, there are just people who you see who are like regulars there. Why am I in there and there's this guy who usually is in there and I'm on like a back extension machine and I get off of it, and because he's older, mind you, like he's like, I want to say he's probably like in his 50s, considerably older than me. I'm 27. He's like, oh, you're doing a really good job. You've been here for so long. He said, you've done a really good job for yourself. And me thinking that this is like cordial conversation, I'm like, oh, thanks. Like, so have you. And so we're just having cordial conversation, and me thinking that it's cordial conversation because there's no way that someone who's 30 years older than me would, you know, there's no way, right? There's absolutely no way. He's like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? Now, In my head, I'm like, oh, he must be asking for like his son or something. I'm like, I don't really want to date anybody. I'm not gonna lie to you. I have completely nixed dating off of my list of things that I intend to do. Like, if it happens, it happens. But I just think that y'all don't want to hear me. I don't mean all men. I don't mean all men. Don't take this as like an opportunity to like rag on men or to like talk shit about men in my comments, because I don't believe in ragging or dogpiling on anybody. These men are insufferable. He's like, oh, do you have a boyfriend? I'm like, oh no. In my head, I'm thinking like, oh, he's probably asking for like his son. Like, oh, you know, my son, or like I have a whoever, and you know, like he's a really nice guy. I want to know if like you wanted to meet him or something. And me, I'm like, I don't really want to meet anybody. But this guy, I'm thinking this guy seems nice. I've had a recent conversation with him, so maybe this is the case. This old geezer, did you want to maybe hang out or go out? I was like, no. I literally said it twice. I said, oh no, I'm 27. Like in my head, I'm thinking maybe he thinks that I'm like 40 something. Maybe I just look really old. He says to me, no, I knew how old you were when I asked you. There are so many things wrong with that. The first is that one, you knew how old I was, but then I always think in terms of like just societal standards, which I know people are like, why do you think that way? I think that way because my mind immediately goes to the political of most things. If you knew how old I was when you met me, and this is like I'm positive that this is at least a 30 something year age gap. The question always runs in my mind, if we didn't have laws to prevent you from talking to women who were younger than me, who I would deem as children, would you feel more comfortable asking a 16 or a 17-year-old that? And I don't want to insinuate anything about anyone's character, but whenever men say things like, oh, they just prefer women younger, I imagine young people as being susceptible. I also imagine them as being, you know, spring chickens. They're new around here and they don't know a lot. And so when you are someone who is of an older age range stating that you like younger women, my first thought process goes to the idea that if laws didn't exist to prevent you from dating people who were essentially children, you would do so. The fact that you felt emboldened during that conversation to ask me to go anywhere with you, when you know, you said it yourself, that I'm almost 30 years younger than you, it means that there was something in me that you saw that you liked. And it wasn't because I was pretty or because I had a good head on my shoulders or because I was fit, because we're in a gym. Most of the women in this gym are fit, pretty, and smart. That's just the reality. What you saw in me was someone who was young, who you felt was susceptible to your bullshit, and you caused yourself trying to take a whack at it. Anyway, I was like, nah, no, I'm gonna go now. You're weird. I came into the same gym another day and he was there standing at the front desk and he's like, oh, hello, like talking to me, and I completely ignored him because like, why would I ever entertain that? And then he says it again, oh, hello, how are you? And in my head I'm like, why the fuck is this nigga talking? I just didn't respond. I was like, I'm not responding to you. Why would I? Oh no, it gets worse. This happens to me a lot, by the way. There have been multiple times where I've been followed around in grocery stores. I've been followed around in the gym. I've been followed around at school. In all of those scenarios, it has been due to the fact that I've in some way, shape, or form rejected a man, which is another reason why I just don't even bother. But I get on the treadmill. There are tons of treadmills in this gym. I do mean like tons of them. If the gym is impacted and there's space for you to have space between you and another person, then have space between you and another person. Some people may not know that, but that is gym etiquette. It's kind of weird to be right up under somebody, especially when they're sweating profusely. I get on the machine. I'm like on like the other end of the gym. Why does this man walk all the way to that end of the gym? Mind you, there are tons of machines open, and get on the machine right beside me. I waited for him to get on it and start up his workout and was like, boo, said verbatim, I'm like, I'm not putting up with your shit. I will not be stalked by you. I will not. I will not. I have not seen him since. I don't know what that's about, but I literally got off him and I made a point of saying it very loudly. I will not be stalked by you. I'm not putting up with your shit. Got off the machine and walked off because I wanted other people to hear. Because I, again, as someone who has been stalked on numerous occasions, never by a woman, always by men. Always by men, and they are men who are my age, men who are older than me. I've learned the error of my ways. I read a book, it's called Why Do Men Do That? And the book specifically talks about abusive men. Understand that stalking, physical, verbal abuse, financial abuse, people wanting to have control over you is a form of abuse. And in the book that I read, just citing my sources, the author of the book is a psychologist and he works specifically with abusive men, but as a man, he stated that all men think the same way. The worst thing that you can do as a woman when a man is trying to assert some form of dominance or control over you is to not not make a scene, especially men who are abusive. Again, this is not an attempt to dogpile on anyone, but the last thing you want to do with any man, even the ones I guess who aren't abusive, is when they are being disrespectful, to not make a scene and to not use your resources. For instance, for example, with the being stalked and him getting on the machine right beside me, a lot of their abusive tactics, again, as someone who's read books on how people abuse people, because that was a form of abuse that was being put on me, I learned that they typically do things in a way that can be misconstrued as harmless. Anyone else in this gym will look at this and go, well, he just got on the machine beside her. And what a lot of women don't understand is that he's well aware of that. The reason why he didn't get on the machine that I was on and punch me in the head or yank me off the machine or start yelling at me is because that will cause a scene, and he doesn't want the attention. He also doesn't want anyone in here knowing what he's doing. But if you get on the machine beside me, it's a way of asserting dominance. It allows the people around you to think, oh, well, maybe he just knows her. What you do in situations like that, in scenarios like that, is you always call attention to the action, and you call attention to the action very publicly. So what I did in that moment is I didn't shy away from the fact that what he was doing. I waited for him to start his workout. I turned off my machine. I turned to him and I said, I will not be putting up with your shit. I will not be stalked by you. And I made sure that people in the vicinity could hear me. I wanted to embarrass him for that behavior, because a lot of them are cowards. Cowardly behavior is always done in the dark, and it's typically done by people who take advantage of the fact that they believe that you're afraid to be embarrassed. Never be afraid to be embarrassed. Ever. Anyway, I'm gonna finish my very, very cold breakfast. This was just my TED Talk. I found that nothing good ever happens from you acting like something isn't as serious as what it is. I tried to type my notes instead, and it definitely was faster. Like, I had more notes, but I realized that I don't actually go back and read through them thoroughly. So when I went to go do my practice exam for that section, I did so bad. And so I'm going back to like writing my notes down, because there's literally just, there's no point in trying to move fast. I might as well just take my time. Well, right now I'm in DC, but I'm so overstimulated right now. The drive here was horrible, and I do mean horrible. People act like I know where I'm going. Like, hello, I'm using the GPS. Everyone doesn't know where they're going. I'm trying to find somewhere to eat. I was originally going to go to the National Portrait Gallery first, but I'm so hungry right now. I didn't have breakfast, and it's currently going on lunch, so I'm going to stop and get something to eat. But I want to find somewhere nice to dine. I look so pretty today. Look at my shirt. Oh, wait. You can't see it because the face tracking is on, but you'll see it later. I'm gonna find somewhere to first sit down and eat. I'll see you guys in a minute. Pistachio butter in it. I have no idea how that's gonna work, but yeah, you wanna get that. Let's see if it's like good. Oh wow. It's so weird. It tastes good, but I would never think that those flavors will go together very well. The pistachio butter is not strong. I think what I don't like in it though is the sherry. I don't have lemon these, so I forgot what the name of the aioli was, but it's like ketchup and like I think it's a chipotle aioli. One of my favorite flavors is truffle flavor.
You like it?
It's good. Back at it again. I'm so full. I actually think I'm full. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm actually a lightweight. I normally don't drink because I am a lightweight. It doesn't take much to kind of turn the tide for me. And so I had that one drink where shortly after I finished it, I was like, I feel like I want to just take a big old nap. So I drank a lot of water while I was there. And then I also made sure to finish my bread. I took my fries to go because I just couldn't fit them in. But it was a lot. It wasn't a lot of food. It was definitely a lot of fries. I have a nice amount of fries left over, like for like a whole other meal or two. But the drink definitely turned the tide for me. No, I should not have had that drink at all. The abstract art, that's my favorite exhibit. At least my favorite exhibits are normally the art exhibits that involve like abstract art. It was like art surrounding like nature. Even though it's the National Portrait Gallery, I'm actually not a big fan of the portraits. These are so massive. Like one of the ones that I just showed you is like, you could probably fit like 7 different people into that one painting, like the actual mass. It's unimaginable. It's so much work. And then to think that like, I think that one was made with oil, I believe. Let me check. Like this one, the really big one, was made with acrylic and oil, which I'm curious how he mixed those two because oil normally doesn't dry as fast. This painting is like, yeah, it's just purely oil. And you can kind of tell, honestly, if you see this, the detail in the trees, as well as like the rocks. Like it looks like you can literally reach your hand in and touch it. It is gorgeous. Like even the river right here, probably years. It could not be a month job unless they just didn't eat or sleep or drink. One minute you'll be feeling horrible, and then the next you'll be feeling like, oh, I feel fine. You just need to go outside and go on a walk. I love walking. I don't know what the hell I did, but whatever it will not focus. I think it's my lotion. I literally got you guys all oiled up. I feel so bad. You're all greasy. I'm so sorry. I always come to the, let me check the time. Always come to the Tate whenever I'm out here. I've spent way too much money. I feel horrible about myself, but I always get a little dessert fun out here. My only complaint with Tate is that they don't heat up the snacks. Why don't you guys heat up the snacks? I just feel like it's all that money for dessert. You can heat up my snack. All right, we gotta go. We gotta go.